Welcome back to Behavior Change Basics, an introduction to social marketing. We're now in Stage 2, defining parameters. So far, we've covered the first 6 steps in our 12-step social marketing framework, and today, we're tackling Step 7, determining the budget for your program. If you've ever worked in the nonprofit or government sectors, you know that budget constraints can be a major roadblock when rolling out a social marketing program. We get it. Money doesn't grow on trees, unless your campaign involves planting a money tree, in which case, let us know how that goes. That's why managing expectations and aligning them with available resources is crucial. There are 2 common budgeting approaches. When setting your budget, you generally have 2 options. 1. The affordable method. Your budget dictates your program. You figure out how much money is available and design your program to fit within that amount. 2. The objective and task method. You plan your program based on what needs to happen, get an estimate of costs, and set your budget accordingly. Obviously, the objective and task method is ideal. If you have the flexibility to do this, fantastic. But for many, the reality is working within a set budget, aka the affordable method. And that's completely fine. The key is knowing which method you're working with up front so you can plan accordingly. Now, let's talk about costs, both monetary and non-monetary. First, we'll consider monetary costs. When budgeting, it's easy to focus on execution costs and forget about development expenses. But both are essential. In addition to the obvious costs, marketing materials, event expenses, and so forth, don't forget these commonly overlooked ones. Research. Yes, those surveys and focus groups cost money. Co-creation team expenses. Even a small budget for refreshments helps keep people engaged. Incentives. These may be needed to encourage participation. Promotion. Getting the word out isn't free. Venue rental. If you need a space for research or program delivery. Monitoring and evaluation, because you need to measure impact. Reporting. Funders and stakeholders will want to see results. Now let's consider non-monetary costs. Beyond direct costs, think about opportunity costs. What could your organization be doing with these resources if they weren't allocated to this program? Also, consider indirect costs, like volunteer and staff time. If employees are working on this instead of their usual duties, that's a cost. Office space. Could it be used for something else? Could the space be rented out? Equipment use. Photocopiers, computers, vehicles. If they're being used, they're costing you. Now, let's think about how to find funding. Funding can be tricky, but with some creative thinking, you can expand your budget. Here are some possibilities. Internal funding. If your organization has already budgeted for your program, great. Grants. Municipal, provincial, and federal grants can provide essential funding. If you do some digging, you can often find available grants. Partnerships. Other nonprofits, educational institutions, businesses, and government agencies may be willing to contribute financial or in-kind support. But make sure you consider the ethics of any partnership you form before you sign the agreement. If you're considering external funding, be mindful of ethical concerns. Money is nice, but your organization's reputation is priceless. Before partnering, ask, does this partnership align with our values? Will this relationship raise concerns with stakeholders? Are responsibilities and resource allocations clearly defined? Now, here are some additional insights and best practices to help maximize your budget. Flexibility is key. While it's essential to have a well-structured budget, remember that flexibility is crucial. No one can predict the future with absolute certainty, so review your budget regularly and be prepared to adjust your budget as circumstances change. Start early and collaborate. Initiate the budgeting process 2 to 3 months before the start of your fiscal year and engage various individuals or departments in the planning process. Collaborative budgeting fosters a sense of ownership and ensures that all facets of the organization are considered. Allocate adequate funds for marketing. Marketing is pivotal in amplifying your organization's mission and programs. It's advisable to allocate between 5% and 15% of your overall budget to marketing efforts. Embrace storytelling. Incorporating storytelling into your marketing strategy can significantly enhance your connection with the community, making your mission more relatable and compelling to your audience. Utilize budgeting templates. To streamline the budgeting process, consider using established templates designed for nonprofits. Plan for contingencies. Incorporate a contingency line in your budget to account for unexpected expenses. Align budget with strategic goals. Ensure that your budget reflects your organization's mission and strategic objectives. This alignment guarantees that resources are allocated effectively, supporting initiatives that advance your core goals. By integrating these practices into your budgeting process, your organization can enhance its financial management and the overall impact of its social marketing programs. Now let's go back to the road crew example to see their budgeting strategy. Road crew was partially funded by a USA Department of Transportation grant. Their budget followed the affordable method. They started with $45,000 per community for 18 months. But they didn't stop there. Each community secured nearly a 100% match in funding from local organizations, government agencies, and businesses. Why was this crucial? Because beyond the money, these partnerships generated stakeholder buy-in, a key ingredient for success. Remember that the Road Crew program sought to decrease drunk driving in rural Wisconsin by offering limousine rides to and from bars and taverns. Their primary expenses included ride reimbursement, promotion and advertising, leasing vehicles, office supplies, phone and equipment, liability insurance, salaries for community coordinators. However, some costs were higher than expected. Administration and operating expenses exceeded budget because vehicles, fuel, and maintenance were pricier than anticipated. Staffing was higher than budgeted because the coordinators couldn't manage alone, so assistants had to be hired. Road Crew monitored the program closely and adjusted their budget when needed. Now, let's consider the ROI, or return on investment of Road Crew. Despite the unexpected costs, Road Crew demonstrated an impressive return on investment. That is, for every dollar spent, they produced greater savings elsewhere. Here's how. The estimated cost of an alcohol-related crash is $56,000. The cost to prevent a crash through Road Crew is $15,300. Net savings per crash avoided is $40,700. That's a major impact, both financially and socially. The key takeaway? Budgeting is more than just numbers. It's about strategy. Be realistic, plan for hidden costs, and seek out creative funding solutions. Don't underestimate the power of partnerships. Most importantly, remember that this is an investment, not an expense. Be ready to demonstrate the return you offer. Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check out the worksheets on our website. They'll help guide you through your own budgeting process. See you in the next video.